I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. This is not meant to be slander, and there may be slander today, but this right now is not. I've never listened to a full episode of Card Lounge. I've only ever seen like clips. I can't get through like 1 or 2 minutes before something like my brain just turns off. But I did see a reel that they put up a few days ago, which was about the Alakazam from XY, which is crazy because I've been talking about those on the stream multiple times over like multiple streams, right? Have I not? Have I not been talking about him? I have. Hell yeah, I have. And I was talking about that specific card. And then like on one of the next streams, I just saw a clip come up from Card Lounge and they're talking about it. And I just saw like 10 seconds of it. I'm like, I can't watch this. But I thought it would be something interesting that we could watch together today, seeing as we're always expressing our frustrations with the current collecting climate and the way that it's changed. And then Jake actually put a really interesting video up on YouTube today, which had a very funny thumbnail that I'm like, I'm watching that, which is this video here, the rapid influencing corporatization of the hobby off the top with TwiceBakedJake. So let's start with finding this Alakazam reel that I was talking about. It's this one here. Collectors are not respecting older cards. Here we go. All right.
Fates collide. No one cares about.
All right, you can hear it. All right, so this is the Alakazam that we were talking about literally on the last stream. And I've been talking about these XY ultra rares, the gold bordered ones. There's the Alakazam, there is the there's the God of War, there is the Volcanion, there is a Valtel, there is also a Shaman, which I think probably the Shaman is probably my favorite, but probably one of the hardest to get now because this video comes out and content like this comes out, which then just directs a lot of attention to it. And there's like a difference between a content creator makes a video and it goes viral when they talk about something they like. And this is why Inza, I feel like last stream was like pulling me up, being like, why do we keep saying words like underrated, underappreciated, like undervalued is a key one. And we spoke about this on the Poker Talk podcast. Then it can become, not dangerous, but it can start to impact the market. And it becomes difficult for the viewer to decide whether it's someone saying that from a genuine POV of like, why are these undervalued? Versus like, this is crazy how undervalued this is. So big yap there. But that's what I felt when I first saw 10 seconds of this. Let's watch it.
If that card came out in a 1,000, but because it's in Fates Collide, no one cares about it.
You're right. Actually,
it's so even funny to me.
It looks like a card that same artwork could just be the alt-art Alakazam.
It is the alt-art Alakazam, actually. It's a secret rare hit from Fates Collide. No one cares about it because it doesn't have branding behind it. But if people cared about it, it's rarer than anything modern because obviously Fates Collide came out like 15 years ago and was like underprinted compared to now.
Right.
But like everyone cares about like the Jungle Chew because of branding,
Yes.
Why is that card $1,200 raw? Forget like the graded prices, Like I would rather have like
raw it should be like $300-$400.
Yeah, I would rather have like 6 Alakazam, which is the same price compared to the Jungle Chew. Pure branding. Like there are so many cards that should be hundreds more, if not thousands more, because they are older, prestigious. It's got Lugia and Umbreon in the art. If that card came out in Ascendant Heroes, it would be 1,000.
15 years ago is pretty crazy.
Because it's in Fates Collide, no one cares about it.
All right, I don't know what Jake is saying when he is talking about pure branding. I think generally what happens with Pokemon cards is the more expensive cards end up being the one, like out the gate when new sets come out. The more expensive or the most expensive cards tend to be the ones that have the most attention and eyes on them. So it's a bit of like a symbiotic relationship between how many people are interested in the card, like how many people are talking about it, and then also whether people just organically like it or not. Now, objectively, it is a really good card. I can't fault what they're saying because it is a really good card and it is essentially an alternate art. It's an alternate art from XY and there aren't many other cards in those sets like these. So they are very, very nice cards and they have generally been underappreciated for a very, very long time. I think there's probably just a better discussion to have about it, which is kind of like what we were talking, and it's easy for me to say this because I'm like, honk, honk, to my own horn. But I feel like there's just, it's just like how he frames it, Zanga fan, where like, there's probably just a better way to have this conversation or like a more interesting way. And that's always my big issue with Pokemon card content is like, wow, like you're right. It should be more expensive. It's just a vapid conversation for me. I would just walk away if that was like, I'd be like, yeah, anyway, nice to meet you. If I was having a conversation with someone like that and that's something they say to me, I never met them before. I'd be like, okay, we're not really gonna have a very fruitful convo here. Maybe that makes me like stuck up and judgmental, but I just don't think it's like interesting and fruitful. Having a discussion about, hey, why did people not embrace these when they came out is much more interesting. And it's not like people didn't embrace these when they came out. Like people who liked these cards got them. And then people who were like, hey, I should probably get that before it becomes a crazy card also got them, which I feel like some of us, because you guys were saying I recently bought this for my Arata binder. you know, kind of fall into. And I picked this up recently as well. That's probably a more interesting conversation for me anyway. But just being like, yeah, it should be more expensive, and then comparing it to modern cards is definitely a fallacy, I think. Because modern cards, and it's something that isn't spoken about enough. Modern cards is just so overpriced. Like they're unsustainably overpriced for how many there are right out there. Because we know factually, objectively, Pokemon is printing more and more sets than ever before. They're printing the most amount of cards they've ever printed. So objectively, there are more cards out there, which means these aren't as rare and scarce. The prices for them, I fucking halfway through what I was fucking saying, just died. Fallacy. It's just like a flawed argument, right? You know, not so much a contradiction, but maybe an argument that doesn't exactly hold up, right? Flawed argument, basically. Like when you compare cards like this to Trikachu, the Pikachu from Ascended Heroes, like it falls apart because that card should not be as expensive as it is. It's just propped up by this fucking hype market. There's probably a middle ground between Pikachu needs to come, like is probably too expensive for what it is, versus the Alakazam is not as expensive for how old and rare it is, and hard it is now to find in good condition. I like the card as much, but what I really care about is it should be worth more money. Yeah, it's a fucking boring conversation. But what it does is it does pump these cards, and it's the kind of pump that we don't like. We don't like these pumps. They're bad. They are false equivalence fallacy is what you're trying to say. Thanks, Rock. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Because the audience that you've got to be fucking careful about how, I think anyway, if you care about the longevity and sustainability of the hobby, you do have to be careful about how you talk about it and what kind of content you put out there. Because from what I see, Card Lounge Podcast just has cultivated a following of people that care primarily about the value and and selling Pokemon cards, right? And graded cards. It's not so much a core Pokemon card collecting audience. And you look at the comments. I picked this up 6 months ago when searching for undervalued cards. It's amazing what you can find when you just look through full catalog of sets. I saw this card last year and bought it for 40. It's so beautiful and texturing is insane. Based, fair, understandable. But then stuff like this. It should be worth more simply because it has Umbreon and Lugia in it. Every master setter must include this card for it. Why should it be worth more? It doesn't benefit anybody when these cards pump in value. It hurts the space. And it further creates this divide between everyday collectors and ultra wealthy collectors, which is something that I spoke about in that video at the start of the year about whether TCGs will crash in 26. You know, there's that divide is getting wider and wider and wider. We spoke about this a lot on the Poker Card Talk podcast, by the way. I think the branding he's referring to is the fake hype marketing of pretty much forcing the modern cards in everyone's face and giving them all nicknames, for example. Yeah, but Aiden, where does that come from? It comes from content creators. And that's why I thought this video was actually really interesting from Jake, because it's talking about a thing that he is actively doing. If I just judge it from the thumbnail, right? Which you shouldn't do. So should we watch this or should we watch, I want to give the start of, because I'm assuming this is from this podcast. Can we talk about the collector hat somebody said? I saw that. Look, I don't want to talk about that fucking app, bro. I think that app is toxic. That app is toxic for the space, but that's a conversation that some people will have and a lot of people don't want to have. But which should we go with? Should we go with trying to sit through 5 or 10 minutes of this? Or should we watch Jake's 20-minute video? That's a long vid. Let's go to Jake's video. 20 minutes of Jake is too much. Let's see how we go.
Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. We are back with another episode of Off the Top. I know I'm super late on this one, and that's mainly because I've been thinking about this subject for quite a while, and it's kind of hard for me to decide what I think about it. The large amount of influencers, content creators, and celebrities that are entering the hobby. Pretty much right now, every musician, every athlete, every rapper, every artist, every streamer, and every content creator seems to be collecting Pokemon cards.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. It is definitely a thing that is really happening. And it annoys me, but what can you do about it? You know, that's just the way of the world. Pokemon cards are really popular right now. I guess the old school term for it is vulture culture. The modern term is LARPers, right? I wouldn't put Lud into the LARPer cad just because dude has fucked with Pokemon for quite a while between Ludlock and just his general history as a streamer. But stuff like Joe Jonas opens Pokemon cards is just fucking not interesting, dude. I fucking hate this stuff. But that's I'm a fucking hardcore hater. First of all, Joe Jonas is a Jonas brother. They were actors. They were teen heartthrobs, I want to say. Is that what you would categorize them as? Did they have a band? They did a couple of movies, and then that was it? What else do they fucking do? Joe Jonas opens Pokemon cards. Why is that a thing? What? Why are people's brains so fucking programmed? I saw this, and I think he pulls a Mew, and then he jumps in a pool. Like, why is that a thing? Like, how is that a good, strong lead? Like, Julian Bridges opens Pokemon cards. Is that a good lead? The fuck did Joe Jonas do? Why is it like a thing? But it's just a thing. I know there's like, hang on, wait. I don't know who these people are. I want to say they're K-pop stars. Is that cultural appropriation? Am I assuming and therefore racist? Yes, they are. Okay, I'm safe. So this thing that Jake is talking about is a valid, but yeah. Anyway, we'll keep watching.
Your favorite Twitch streamer, your favorite K-pop
Is that me? I'm correct because I'm racist. The most important thing there is that I'm correct.
star, Joe Jonas, Tom Brady, Dana White, Jay-Z, Usher, RM, the lead singer from BTS, collects Pokemon cards. Pretty much everyone collects Pokemon cards, you know? All Twitch streamers.
I saw this and then the fucking Suicune EX sent someone that I know. I don't know if they're watching today, but they watch. It sent them into a fucking spin, bro. They were tripping out. They were like, fuck, I need it. I was like, bro, it's already too late. I think this card is like 3 times or 4 times what it was before she put that in the case. And I'm going to say 100%. I'm going to say 99%. Her management or people close to her bought thousands of these cards, hundreds if not thousands of them before she did this. Because why are you doing that? Like, what are we doing? No one's favorite card is this Suicune EX. I'm sorry, that's cap. That's no one's favorite card. There are objectively better Suicune cards out there. Objectively. She hit the cert, bro. She's a real one. She hit the cert. I mean, did she crack the slab? Bro, that's Momo. I don't know who these people are. Name 3 Momo songs. You can't. You just fucking think you like her, but you don't. You were conditioned by big corpo to like K-pop. It's not good music. It's actually objectively not. She's part of Twice. I don't even know who Once is. I'm so sorry. I had to fucking do it. That's him with the red heart. I know who Neymar is. He plays fucking soccer. Maybe she likes it for sentimental reasons. It's not that deep, bro.
Pretty much like it's easier to find streamers who aren't collecting Pokemon cards than ones that do, because pretty much they all do. So pretty much a lot of people are joining the
I'm not fucking racist. Hello, Yugi Boogie. I just want you to know, as a longtime fan, I'm not racist. Thank you for the very kind message, while everybody else calls me racist.
Ones that do, because pretty much they all do. So pretty much a lot of people are joining the hobby right now, or at least joining it very, very recently. And they're throwing a lot of money and big businesses behind of it. Obviously, some of the big ones like Tom Brady owns like 25 card shops in the past year. Like they straight up just opened 25 card shops in 1 year, and they have backings from multimillionaires now. Pharrell Williams started their own auction house where they are looking to consign Pokemon cards immediately. So I am really conflicted about all of this, mainly because I'm a bit of a gate wide open kind of person, which means basically I do believe everyone can and should collect Pokemon cards because it's just super cool and it's a very easy, no nonsense hobby. So
I was literally thinking, I like this video. I think it's going to be a good video. And then he said that, and I fucking don't like that. I disagree with that. I think you can do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. It's your life. You're gonna live it once. Fine. I really don't like I just think the LARPing is like super toxic and actively hurts the space. And it's because people quietly leave because of LARPing. All you're left with is LARPers. And then I got nothing to speak to about Pokemon cards with LARPers. Let's keep watching.
People talk about TikTok Shop and whatnot as being the 2 big ones, but between those, there's a ton of other ones, right? There's like Fnatic, there's like a platform called like Ripit or something. There's like eBay Live. There's so many, you can't even name them all. And there's so many breakers and Mysteries Lab companies. So there are a lot of just new companies and businesses jumping into the hobby, and that can be really, really painful too. So again, like I think this is a super conflicting topic, because I think it's cool that more people are collecting cards. It really legitimizes the hobby. It's never been easier to just tell people that you collect Pokemon cards, because it's just a really socially acceptable hobby right now. But at the same time, you know, it gets quite challenging because you don't want all of these people joining into the hobby just because it's big business, right? So that's quite challenging. So in today's video, I know this has been kind of a long going topic, but I want to really break it apart. Like, what are the pros of all of this change happening in the hobby, and at the same time, what are the cons? There is no call to action in a video like this because you can't really stop it. I'm not going to tell you to blacklist Tom Brady. I'm not going to tell you to hate Logan Paul. If you dislike them, that's completely fine. That's up to you. But at the end of the day, this wave of change is going to happen whether you and I like it or not. Like, we don't have a lot of powers to do anything with it. If you actively hate it, you can choose to abstain from touching their platform. You can say like, yeah, I'm not just going to visit these card shops, or I'm not going to approach these activities, and that's completely fine too. But I think with the way that the hobby is going at it, these changes are going to happen whether you like it or not. So it's going to be interesting to see how we approach it. So let's talk about it. What are the pros and cons of pretty much every content creators and celebrity in the whole entire world jumping into the hobby all at once?
Okay, a lot of words. A lot to digest there. I like this video. I actually think this is a really good video from Jay. Interested to see the discourse that comes out of it from his channel, because obviously like he's got different audience and large reach. So I think it's actually kind of good that he's making a video talking about this. Yeah, I know what you guys are saying. There are like a few contradictions, because some of the stuff that Jake is talking about is stuff that he does. But in the same breath, I'm talking about like what you're giving versus what you're taking. I think Jake is just like a really conflicting creator at the moment, or like for the last few years, right? Because he went from being like super wholesome and like, you know, trying to help people as much as he possibly could, to leaning into, with a lot of those like, you know, everything you need to know, or like set review videos, to then leaning into like the value and the investing component really strongly, and then cultivating an audience that really loved that a lot. And then that audience kind of fucking breeding and growing rapidly. And then now in like recent years, he's kind of pulled back a little bit from that. And like you look at his like channel, and like the videos have suffered because of it. And I think like some of his videos have found that to be a bit of a contradiction. And so sometimes he gets like roasted in his video comments. So like he's a very, but like in that same breath, like he's still like, I don't know, whether you like, I don't like hate Jake. I just think that he's an interesting character, right? Whether you love him or hate him, you can't deny that he adds a little bit to the space. Like he adds a very interesting perspective. He's initiating a pretty interesting conversation here. Yeah, maybe he is having an identity crisis. Maybe he is. He's probably just trying to find where the fuck he belongs in this space anymore. Because you can probably see like how what he does influences it positively or negatively. Joe Jonas has been into Mon for a while. Sorry, I saw this, hold my drink. He grew up in a small town by me, Wyckoff, New Jersey. Knew his family from church. He's legit. Well, probably is. Okay, fair. Because like, okay, let's be serious. A lot of us grew up with Pokemon. It's the question mark over like, why are you coming back now? Why are you coming back now? And like, what are you giving versus what are you taking? You know, maybe he likes Pokemon and he saw a brand, and he saw the opportunity for a brand deal. Maybe someone will sponsor them, or like the chance to work with Pokemon because Pokemon are working with big celebrities. Like, I don't like it. You know, I'm about rewarding the little guy, like the up and comers. You know, you can be big and famous and still like Pokemon cards. It's when you start fucking posting it where it's like becomes like we're just doing this for clout. You know what I mean? Like it's like why I took a lot of what I do offline, because it's like I can post this, but I might influence the space and I can still enjoy it without posting about it. There's so many things that I have collected that I just don't share with you guys. Not because I don't want you to see it. It's just because like I can still enjoy it offline, and maybe that's better. I mean, it's like why I open my packs offline now. Mostly, if I open English, I just open it on my own. I don't need to fucking show it all the time. I feel like when you come from a big, like if you're already a big person in a space, like let's say you're Tom Brady. Why is Tom Brady popular? Football player. Then all of a sudden Tom Brady gets into Pokemon. I'm like, fucking hell, man. It's so gluttonous. You already had your thing. You already are who you are. Like, why do you need to come into this thing? There are people that are trying to make it in this space as like their starting point, but they're getting eaten by people that have already made it, right? Coming in and fucking eating it. Natalie Roosh, right? Because I saw that video by Original Paradigms where he's talking about the OnlyFans girls coming to Pokemon. It's like, yeah, what are we doing? This is fucking weird. You're already like, you've made your millions out of whatever you've made doing OnlyFans or whatever. Power to you, right? Like, why do you need to then like come into this Pokemon card space and like try and create this fucking weird link? It's weird. Like, it's weird. You already have like, why do you need more? It's gluttonous. Not to fucking mention like the weirdness of, you know, fucking essentially sex workers coming into a space that is primarily filled with children, right? It's a bit odd, right? Now that's a conversation maybe for another day, but that's an example. Like why, that's why people get upset. Why like core fans and hardcore fans get upset and get defensive, because you already have your thing. Like, why are you coming in here and like mucking it up here, you know? And it is just greed. And that's why like it's hard to embrace it. There's like this element of we should want it to be like a welcoming community where anybody can jump in and start collecting. But in the same breath, like why do we want to invite these people and accommodate them when what they're doing is capitalizing on the thing that we like and then potentially exploiting it further for personal gain? If someone comes in and starts like fucking with Pokemon cards and they're like making cool content, interesting stuff that people have never seen before, super passionate, fucking power to you. But when it's vapid stuff like today I'm going to open a Pokemon pack, and then like a little funny gag, I'm like, LARP, you know? But Jake brought up like a couple of really good points there, especially about how it's inevitable. You can't do anything about this. It's like you can have them puff and whatever, but you can't really do a whole lot. It's just going to happen. It is happening. It's been happening for years. Opossum Bud puts it really, really well. And he has for years, right? He's always fucking said, we'll see how many of these people are around when the money goes. And the money hasn't gone yet, so these people are still around. But that is the fucking true. That is the true decider, basically, of how real this influx and new wave of people have come in is. All right.
Jumping into one of the biggest pros, I think, of the celebrities and content creators and big businesses jumping into the
Okay, this is going to be interesting.
hobby, which is there is way more accessibility to cards. It was a real challenge.
I can already see Franco's blood boiling off of that statement.
People talk about how cheap cards were a couple of years ago, but it was a real challenge to get anything. If you wanted a Mario Pikachu box or a Poncho box or stuff from Japan, it was not easy to get 5 or 6 years ago or 7 years ago or 8 years ago. If you wanted a Mario Pikachu box or a Poncho box, it was a real challenge. More jumping into one of the biggest pros, I think, of the celebrities and content creators and big businesses jumping into the hobby, which is there is way more accessibility to cards. It was a real challenge. Like, people talk about how cheap cards were a couple of years ago.
This is fucking crazy,
bro. It was a
bro.
real challenge to get anything. If you wanted a Mario Pikachu box or a Poncho box,
This is actually
or stuff from Japan, it was not easy to get 5 or 6 years ago.
This is okay. This is actually really bad because this is rewriting history. You can't fucking do this stuff, dude. Like, you actually have a responsibility as a creator to not fucking lie. You have to not. You can't lie. Like, this is actually fake news. It's fake news. Wait, did TTS just work? What the fuck? When did TTS get fixed? This is fucking crazy. You can't lie. And this is something that I've had a big issue with.
TTS works.
Holy pogger. Okay. This is something I've had a fucking issue with Sakura's Card Store, Poker Any, Kuyon Collectibles a couple of years ago or like a year ago, right? Where they just fucking straight up lie. And it's fucking annoying. Like, why lie for? Because you're trying to make money out of the space and you don't want people to know the truth.
TwiceBakedJake.
It's actually crazy though that, because like the issue with this is that people watch this and then they believe it. Like, new people come in that don't know and they're just like, oh,
I'm livid.
this is exactly what happened because this guy, did you know that was actually really hard to get? No. I mean, we all know this. Crazy. Even as far back as 2 years ago, it was very, very easy to get from Japan. All you needed was a parcel forwarder's address and a Pokemon Center Japan account. And you could pre-order for a very long time 5 boxes of Terrestrial Festival. Every week, I think. You could just keep pre-ordering it over and over and over and over for the first wave. And that was 2024. If you're watching this over at YouTube or you're watching this as a short, if you're watching this right now, Japanese Pokemon cards were very easy to get from Japan and you could often get them for less than retail. You could often get them at wholesale price. I have receipts where I bought Sun and Moon booster boxes in 2020 and 2021. This is post Logan Paul boom, where I was buying them for 4,000 yen. Sets like Miracle Twins, sets like Remix Bout, sets like Sky Legends, right? Where you're getting cards like the Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos by Hyogonosuke as a special art. So many of those sets non-stop. And it's why I opened so much back when I first started streaming and why I have those special arts in my collection, because it was accessible. It became inaccessible when middlemen made themselves unnecessary middlemen in the US or internationally, wherever, buying the boxes and then selling them at a markup. Selling them at a markup that was 2 or 3 times, but still less than what an English booster box was, so that Japanese looked affordable and attractive to somebody who was trying to get into Pokemon card collecting at the time. And those people made a mint. Those are the same people that consistently lie about accessibility and try to sell this idea to you that they made Pokemon cards more accessible and having more people like them in the space is a good thing. When in actual fact, those are the very same people that ruined it and made it so hard to buy those sets. And it's why we're at the point where we have booster boxes at 4 or 5 times retail. And most people just don't know that, because then Jake comes in and then he makes a video and he says that accessibility was really difficult back then. That's crazy. But the thing is, back then I made those guides showing people how to get booster boxes from Japan and the place stayed accessible. Did it not? It wasn't like I uploaded those videos and then all of a sudden shit hit the fan. I made 2 or 3 different how to buy Pokemon card videos on YouTube. Sorry, I don't want to sound like I'm getting defensive. I'm not, because I already know the truth. I know who I am. But like, I know that like when I made those videos, like those cards stayed accessible and the sets stayed accessible. Maybe a website here and there like Okini Land. I remember when I spoke about Okini Land and Cardiacs got really upset. But like, it's crazy. I made those videos and I showed people how to get them without having to go through unnecessary middlemen. And then you could still get him. Do you think it's malicious from Jake, or is he just silly? For a very long time, I've always thought Jake is just a little bit silly. I don't think he's malicious. I don't think he's a malicious person. But I'm starting to buy into the idea that he is controlled opposition and he is a paid op. And that maybe somewhere someone is paying him to lie. Because some of these takes are actually genuinely insane. You know what I'm saying? Like, he might be Fed posting. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, fool me once, fuck it, I got it wrong. Shit, dog. How much they paying you? I want to get some of that.
7 years ago or 8 years ago, it was very, very challenging. There were very few channels for you to get any of those kind of products. And if you wanted to get Pokemon cards, you had to go to a specialty card shop, and Walmarts do have them, but it was, again, like still a challenge because there just weren't that many places that actually sell cards. Now
Bitch, you could get these cards off eBay. It didn't even matter if you wanted to, like, you felt like it was too difficult to go through Black Ship, Japan Rabbit. You could just go to ebay.com. How many people posted pictures of like, oh man, I used to buy these off eBay for fucking like $45. I bought Black White Shiny Collection for $15 a box. Why are we lying? You could just go on eBay. Why are we lying? Why are we like trying to rewrite history? This is crazy.
Nowadays, there seems to be a card shop on every corner, like a physical card shop. And obviously, digital platforms have expanded rapidly. So,
okay, I'm gonna speculate. I'm doing big speculation. Formula One Man talks about this. He says, I have the right idea and I like talk about the right concepts, like the economic concepts, but I don't know the terms for them. I don't know actual names for them. Okay. So when you're in too deep, right, you have to continue just fucking towing the line. Like you got to keep the fucking show going. So maybe, right, I'm speculating. Maybe Jake bought his house. He's got a mortgage. Maybe he's quit his job and he's trying to go full-time content, right? And rather than like try and innovate as a creator and make it as like an actual content creator on YouTube, he's just trying to keep this market going, because if this market keeps going, the value of his collection stays high. If the value of his collection stays high, his assets remain valuable, and his assets are very liquid. So he will be able to sell them for actual cash, fiat at any point, right? Fiat, however you want to say it. Therefore, it doesn't benefit him to talk honestly and earnestly about the space, because if he does, the market might cool. And so that's why he says this shit. Maybe. I don't know. Is that a reason? I'm trying to fucking find a reason for it. Because like he just is, right now he's just straight up being, I want to say non-factual. I don't want to keep saying lying. Okay. Maybe he's just being, right now he's being non-factual. I don't know whether he's lying, because lying suggests that there's intent. But between this and then like Card Lounge, which seems like it's just a place to harbor people that are in the space for money. Social media is very powerful. And so it keeps the market and it keeps the story going, right? It keeps people thinking and believing and understanding that Pokemon cards are valuable. Therefore, it keeps his collection value high, right? Therefore, it keeps him wealthy. Therefore, he doesn't have to go back to full-time work and he can continue working for himself. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Because that's all I can think. I just think if you really like the space, you would, one, just absolutely do your research and show some receipts to back up your point there. So show it being inaccessible, or do the research and then be like, oh, wait, actually it was accessible. And so you don't say this. I just feel like you would do that.
this just didn't exist 6 or 7 years ago. But if you truly wanted to, you could basically go on like 100 different platforms, order a booster pack, and someone will rip it and send you the cards in 1 to 2 days. And I think at least that's really, really cool that that accessibility exists. We're not talking about the price of that or the legality or the ethics of that. I just think it's straight up cool that you can rip open a booster pack at any given time. That is kind of neat in terms of accessibility. And at the same time, if you want to grade your cards, it's never been...
Okay, you can, but it is not economical, and it is a bad value prop for the buyer, okay, and the collector. I don't know. What's a good example? I don't even fucking know, man. I'm fucking stun-locked by this statement. It's crazy. I don't fucking know, man. I don't even know. That's like saying if eggs became really expensive and like eggs were like $20 for a dozen, but I could go on an app and I could buy them, and I couldn't buy them at the store, but I could go on an app and I could buy them for $25 a dozen and I would get them within a day. That it's cool. No, it's not. Objectively, the idea that you can open packs at any time online or not is objectively cool, but that would be cool if it wasn't exploitative and 2 or 3 times what it would cost you if you just walked to the store and bought it yourself. Notwithstanding all the other things you need to worry about, like, is the seller actually going to ship it if I get a hit? If I get something rare? Has the pack been weighed or scanned? Blah, 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 blah. So many different, like, is fucking FedEx going to steal it or whatever?
been easier. Back in the day, it was a real challenge. Like there was a lot of mystery around Pokemon card grading. If you want to grade your cards nowadays, it's super easy.
Okay, again, now we're talking about grading. Isn't it grading fucking like dragging your balls against concrete right now? I shouldn't use terms like that because that's gross. And also, I should be inclusive with the terms. Isn't that like pulling out your fucking big toe's nail and pouring like alcohol on it? Like, isn't it painful right now? It takes longer than it's ever taken and it's more expensive than it's ever cost.
It's a super streamlined process. You can go to any GameStop.
Now I'm fetish shaming? Fuck it.
And they will just send your cards off for grading. The methods for grading have just become so much easier. In fact, if you buy a card on eBay and it's kind of an expensive card, eBay just has the option, hey, do you want to send this to PSA right now? I'm not saying you want to, but the option is there. So that is absolutely really, really cool. And at the same time, the sales channels are everywhere in that if you want to sell your cards, it's so much more liquid nowadays than it ever was before. That's one of the biggest complaints that people talk about when they are collecting a large collection is that when you ever want to sell your collections years ago, it was a challenge. Like there weren't a lot of people buying Pokemon cards. So it was a challenge to sell anything.
Finally, something that is grounded in reality. Okay. Yes, it's easier than ever to sell Pokemon cards. I'm going to give him that one. But unfortunately, at this point of the video, Jake is 1 from 10. And it's not looking good for the next 12 minutes.
Like, obviously, I sold plenty of super expensive stuff from years ago that weren't expensive then. But the reason they were those prices, like I would sell a Poncho Pikachu PSA 10 card for like $100. And that listing would stay online for like 1 to 2 months. You would think like, wow, someone would scoop up that Poncho Pikachu in hours or minutes as soon as that listing goes up because it's so incredibly cheap. But you got to understand the hobby was so much smaller then that a listing for like a Scream Pikachu or a Mario Pikachu card or a Poncho Pikachu or any of these kind of products, they would sit online for like weeks, if not months at a time because...
Has anyone else seen it? Can anybody else see it? Let me know if you see it, chat. I'll give you a little hint.
Physical card shop from Japan a couple of years ago. But it was a real challenge to get anything. If you wanted a Mario Pikachu box or a Poncho box or stuff from Japan, it was not easy to get 5 or 6 years ago. The hobby was so much smaller then that a listing for like a Scream Pikachu or a Mario Pikachu card or a Poncho Pikachu or any of these kind of products, they would sit online for like weeks, if not months at a time because there weren't people just constantly buying these products. It was not easy to get 5 or 6 years ago or 7 years ago or 8 years ago. There weren't people just constantly buying these products. But nowadays, if you want to sell anything, like if you have...
It's actually crazy. Which one is it? Which one is it, bro? It's actually crazy. Was it hard or was it easy? Did the stuff sell or did it not? What are we saying? He started off so strong. Like the video was so promising in the first 4.5 minutes. I'm like, this is great. He's going to talk about some actual interesting topics. We're actually going to see some interesting topics here. But now we're getting this. I don't get it. Make it make sense. I don't get it. The rambling caught up to him. I'm not going to... Look, in Jake's defense, I'm running defense for him. I'm going to keep running defense for the guy, right? In his defense, sometimes when you're doing these rambling videos, you fuck yourself. But the key, right? The key as a creator is to fucking catch it, all right? Whether you catch it in the moment, you catch it a minute later and you start a new take, or you catch it when you're editing, there's like 2 or 3 or 4 fucking capture points, bro. You can even just lie and edit it out. You could just like cut out the bits in the 1 minute segment. You can cut out like 40 seconds of it. Nobody fucking knows. Yeah, I feel like he definitely should have scripted this. There should be notes in front of him. Maybe there are, but I feel like they should be better notes.
Cards, products, anything at all that you want to sell. There are so many sales channels that are available that a lot of collectibles have become incredibly liquid. So the accessibility to how quickly you can access cards and how quickly you can sell off your cards or trade off your collection has exploded. You just have so many more options right now. In fact, it's gotten so explosive that there's just a straight up buy list for rare, expensive Pokemon cards. Like if I ever wanted to sell my Mario Pikachu, the platform Sneaker Dunk will just straight up pay me 35 grand for my PSA 10 Mario Pikachu.
Okay, it's not sponsored by Sneaker Dunk, but that's sus. I'm watching you, bro. I'm watching you, Jake. I'm watching you.
Why would they buy it at that price? Because they have buyers in Japan and Singapore and Asia who will pick it up from them for 38 to 40K. So they're willing to buy my car for 35K because they can easily sell it for between 38 to 40K. And that's one car. They will happily buy that car for 35K at any given time, no questions asked. That's just their buy list price. They will happily take 10 copies of Mario Pikachu PSA 10s if I had them. I don't have 10, but that just shows you how liquid the market actually is.
Okay, so the market is liquid. It is, but it wasn't not liquid back then. It's just fewer people were buying the cards, but they were there. That's how people got them. I want to say just off the rip, maybe like 80 to 90% of people who were collecting Japanese Pokemon cards between 2010 and 2019 were just buying them off eBay. And I would say only a small percentage were buying them from sites like Army or buying them through parcel forwarders. I want to say 80 to 90% of people were just buying it off eBay. Like it astounds me when people who have like big Japanese collections show me their purchase history from eBay, and I'm like, that's crazy. Like you were literally just buying insane cards, insane boxes off of eBay from Japan.
Again, that's a pretty large pro. So what are some of the cons? Because boy, if you're watching this video, you're probably on the other side of the fence. You're probably not really enjoying celebrities jumping into the hobby. So there are absolutely a ton of cons to it as well. I think the biggest con that people talk about when they see so many celebrities and industries jumping into the hobby absolutely is the disappearance of the whimsy or fun around the hobby. And that's absolutely true, is that a lot of the people that are jumping into the hobby right now, some of them are true OG fans, but a lot of them are truly LARPers or people that just want to make a quick buck. They're here because it just makes financial sense to open up a business related.
What does that even mean, that the whimsy is gone? I'm all about, all right, I'm not going to lie, because I would get fact checked by Joe. I'm not all about the whimsy. I'm trying to be more about the whimsy in general. But I can recognize the whimsy. I'm not a fucking buzzkill, and I just don't see what is the whimsy. What's the whimsy? Oh, the magic of opening boxes? Why he used big words? Dude, whimsy is a 6-letter word. The innocence of just enjoying collecting some shiny cardboard before money broke culture. If that's what we're saying, then yeah, it's probably fair. I mean, like, I purposely don't watch pack opening content because it tilts me, and I don't need the fucking random dopamine rush from somebody else. I got no interest in it. And maybe because of that, when I do open packs, I still like have fun. I opened up my first partner Series 3. I had a pre-order, I didn't even know. But when I did some pre-orders, I must have like fucking clicked it. So there you go, W. When I opened the promo pack and I got the Gen 3 starters, I was like, oh, let's fucking go. Guys, you remember when I didn't fucking remember Torchic's name? That was crazy. I got Torchic, I got Mudkip, and I got Trico. That was crazy. So yeah, I get what he's saying with the whimsy's not really there. I just click off it.
To collectibles right now. It's just a hot space, right? They're doing it because it's a smart business decision. And that absolutely shows. And it shows in a lot of different ways. And it makes it so.
How capitalist pilled are you Americans? Because like we talk about Americans being capitalistic, but is it fucking, this is bad. Like you guys, you don't see the fucking whimsy, period. Like you guys is just, we have to make money off of this. It's making money off this. We have to make money off this right now. I guess there is also this element of like, you guys are just trying to survive too. That is true. I know you guys have got your shit's fucked up right now. You cannot speak ill of capitalism here one bit. I mean, just go back and look at the fucking investor stream from 2024. Those guys were fucking pissed, man. They were pissed off. I'm not gonna lie, that stream, I didn't fucking say anything of substance. I just let everyone else talk. That was an awesome stream. I was like, you know what? You guys are fucking like really in too deep. And this was the whole time I was doing that stream, I was literally sitting there. I'm like, this was a fucking bad idea. What the fuck was I thinking? I'm just gonna sit here and like let everyone else talk. It's like, you just watch that stream back. I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, in his brain, he's like, oh, I really fucked up and it's very hot outside. Why did I fucking do this? That stream, everyone in chat was against you. Chat was wild. You got one guy hard that stream. Yeah, I mean, I just like shouldn't have done that stream, but it was funny. I don't regret it. I would do it again. Somebody left a comment on a video and I was like, you should get this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy and do it in another Investor Bro stream. I'm like, bro, you fucking crazy? Why would I do that? Yeah, you should just jump into a fucking pool of nails. You should go swimming in a volcano. You should fucking cut your arms and pour salt on it. And you should drink some acid. Yeah, dude. Fucking hell yeah, dude. It's lit. It's fucking awesome, bro. Investor Bros, it's lit. I love it. No worries, man. Yeah, just for you, man. Crazy.
So that the hobby loses a lot of its whimsy. That's the word that I'm going to use to describe it. But it loses that magic, you know. It becomes very corporatized, you know. There was a time when there was a rusticness to the hobby. There was a genuine feeling of fun. and whimsy. Again, like I'm using that word again, is how I would like to describe it. And that feeling is really disappearing because of how heavily the hobby has been monetized and corporatized.
No, Franco, in Jake's defense, I feel him a little bit here. That part of me is dead. I think back to 2021 and 2022 J-Love and like the box opening videos, the Japanese naming, the etymology. It's dead. That guy's fucking gone, bro. Because I'm just like, I don't want to make this, and I don't think anybody wants to watch this outside of like 10 people. If I don't want to make it, I can't force myself to make it. I'm sorry, as much as I am for that group, as big or as small as they are. He's dead. Joe Jonas fucking killed him, and Tom Brady fucking killed him, and fucking Momo killed him, and fucking the guy from Squid Games killed him. He's fucking dead, dude. Like, he's fucking gone. Natalie Rouge fucking killed him, bro. Those OnlyFans girls that came in killed him. The ones that are like, if I get a hit, I take off my clothes, killed him. He's fucking dead, dude. He's gone, bro. So like, he's right. Jake's right. In a 20-minute Jake video, 2 out of 563 things he says will be correct and like based. But the other 561 are going to fucking make you think that he is funded by, like, I don't want to fucking say, I want to say some crazy ass shit, but I don't want to sound mean. But it will make you fucking think twice. It'll make you ask, was Jake in the emails, bro? Because this is fucking crazy. Let's keep going.
And I get it. I absolutely feel it too. And it's a real challenge, you know. If you don't enjoy that, it sucks it dry because it feels like your hobby has been pirated, overtaken, or captured, you know. Someone has taken over the hobby and it's changed into a monster that you don't really remember anymore. Like, this feels like a friend that you used to hang out with, and now they've completely changed into something that you don't enjoy. So again, like, that's a massive challenge to deal with. That's not all. Because of the heavy corporatization and monetization of the hobby, a lot of card prices has been jacked through the roof. Pokemon card prices have not been at retail price for over basically 2 years now.
So like, what I don't get is if he is cognizant of the fact that Pokemon cards are expensive, more expensive than ever before, therefore inaccessible, why does he talk about accessibility being better than ever before? I just don't get it. Like, I don't want to sit here and call him a hypocrite all day, but the video is confusing because in the video, he contradicts himself. So what are we actually trying to say? What is the message here? I'm not going to lie, man. I actually feel like he is being paid under the table, but by who and for what reason? I don't know. You got to share the files, Jake. We need to understand there needs to be some transparency. Who put you up to this? Are you in danger? Is this some kind of like Hollywood humiliation ritual? Is the channel going to blow up to 1 million subs after this? How do I get in on it? I'll start saying crazy shit if that's what it takes. I'm down, bro. And if the paycheck is good enough, I'm there. That's crazy. I like the idea of off the top with TBJ because it's funny.
Which is a long time, and it doesn't seem like we're gonna reach like a real cool down, like a true affordable prices again anytime in the near future. Like, we're seeing some cheap prices now. Like, I almost see perfect order booster boxes touching $160 to $165 a booster box, and there's a couple of ETBs that are reaching like $60 to $70, but a lot of products are still really expensive. A lot of singles are really expensive.
Do you guys remember like 5-7 years ago, Cosmic Eclipse? I know like it was 5-7 years ago, but even as far back as like 2021, you could get Cosmic Eclipse boxes for like less than $400, right? I don't know.
30th celebration.
I'm disappointed because I thought he was going to talk about more interesting things.
Is scalped through the roof. And so for the vast majority of collectors, like, I have not been able to buy any Pokemon card products at a Target or Walmart or Best Buy in basically 2 years. If I want to buy anything, I have to go to my local game store, like a true card shop, and I'm probably buying it for like a little bit below market, like whatever the store is able to sell them at that is below market but still above retail. So it's like a weird middle ground, right? And that's about as good as I can do right now. And that's what the vast majority of people who are watching this video can do. None of us have access to cheaper card prices, and none of us are really seeing the benefit of the people joining the hobby. We're basically just seeing prices go up, and that just sucks because that's just a straight up bottom line, right? That just hurts your wallet, and no one enjoys that. Like, no one enjoys ripping open a brand new booster box at $250 a booster box. I would love to open the brand new Japanese set, Storm Emerald. I want to do a review video on it.
I don't get it. I'm lost, man. He lost me. Remember Paldea Evolved booster boxes being like 80. Don't worry, at least Perfect Order is almost Emma. I just want to ask him. Like, maybe I gotta get Jake on the stream. I'm gonna ask him, Jake, come on the stream. I'm gonna upload this to the apps channel, and I'm gonna make a short out of it. And I'm gonna ask him. I'm putting the pressure on. I'm not doing it to be mean. I'm not calling him names. I gotta understand. I just gotta understand. Come on the stream. I gotta ask a little bit more. I want to understand. I want to get in the brain of Jake. You know, I want him to just be raw. I want him to be raw, man. I want to get it. One reason why I wish I was in the States is that it would be so much easier to make videos and stuff, and how I could do all these things that I want to do. I would love to do a documentary or like interview with Jake in person. Yeah, I could do them online, but it's just not the same. You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to follow Jake around at a card show or something and just understand. I'm gonna get him on the stream, man. This is a crazy video. It started off so strong.
Haven't been able to, and one of the reasons is that I just don't want to buy a booster box at like $170 a booster box. Like, that's really excessive, you know? That's like 4 times above retail price, and that's a Japanese booster box. Again, if you don't rip the Rayquaza, you're basically like massively in the hole, and that's not fun to be ripping open booster boxes at 4 or 5x retail price. And that's what we're seeing. Like, the 30th celebrations ETB is like $180. No one wants to pay $180 for an ETB, regardless of what side or what feelings you have in the hobby. So that can be super frustrating. And last off, probably the biggest con of them all is just straight up, there are real crimes happening in the hobby. Card shops are being broken.
I don't care. I'm sorry. You lost me. This is not my problem. But I'm a hater. Maybe that's callous. I don't think this impacts us. Like, it doesn't impact us. Like, this doesn't impact you or I. There's always crime. Crime is like always existed. I don't think crime is the result of Joe Jonas opening a pack. I think this is a stretch. I think stores that have valuable things that are easy to move will get broken into. People's houses, whatever, anything. It does impact us because it makes prices high in aggregate. No, there's no. As a fucking professor, Kaigas, where is the correlation? There is none. This is just an assumption. You're drawing lines and connecting dots that crime in general makes prices higher. You're generalizing though. No, you've lost me. Dude, the video started off so strong. Talk about fucking Natalie Roosh, dude. Talk about something that fucking matters. Talk about like LARPers. Like, we were so close.
Into every single day. Cards are being stolen from binders. Every time that there is a card show, there's always someone that is stealing cards from vendors, stealing cards from straight up kids' binders. Like, I've seen videos of grown adults.
Obviously, I think it's bad. I think crime is bad, and I think stealing stuff is bad, but there've always been people stealing stuff. There's always been crime. There've always been dickheads. I don't think this has anything to do with the rising corporatization of the hobby.
Just men who are looking through a kid's binder videos of grown adults, like just men.
Hey, not all men. #
Who are looking through a kid's binder. They see the kid has like $100 card inside of their binder, and they just straight up steal it. Like, stealing cards from kids
I ain't doing
is
that.
So morally and ethically wrong. Like, that's where we're
obviously
at as a hobby. And the reason why they're doing that is because of the value and the prices on these cards. They're too tempting. Like, card prices are so...
Slow the fuck down. I'm fucking... What? You could say this about anything. I could walk into a jewelry store and punch the fucking cabinet open and take it because the gold is valuable. That doesn't mean I'm gonna fucking do it. This is not because Pokemon cards are popular. It's just because people fucking like to steal shit. This is crazy.
Expensive. And these people are so desperate for value, you know? Like, breaking into a card shop seems like...
It's a product of card store security not being strong enough, maybe? Like, okay, why don't you see stories on the news about jewelry shops being broken into? When's the last time you saw or heard about a jewelry store getting broken into? How the fuck am I victim blaming? I didn't say it was their fault. GTA. Yeah, you can't answer me. That's right. You can't fucking answer me, idiots. That's toxic. Yes, because the security is ridiculous at those things. So if we're making so much money, right? If we're making so much money out of Pokemon cards, why aren't these stores like absolutely fucking beefing up the security and putting like turrets and shit? 2 reasons. 1, laziness. 2, don't want to spend the money. 3, maybe it's an inside job. It's an insurance job. I don't know. I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying there's at least 2 or 3 reasons. Like, jewelry is just as liquid as Pokemon cards, arguably more liquid, because if the person is stealing slabs, well, they have certs on them and they got to crack them if they want to sell them as raws. And when a jewelry store gets broken into, you don't see someone post, hey, have you seen this Rolex? Have you seen this necklace? Please alert us if you have. No, but you see a million, hey, if you see somebody selling a fucking Masaki Gengar and it's got this holo pattern, it's GG, dude. That guy's gone. That's going to hit social media like fucking within 24 hours. There's no way that his last topic is crime and it's the next 5 minutes.
A legitimate value proposition, which is crazy. There are people out there that would love to steal cards right now, and that is insane to me. Like, these are real crimes, and it's happening every single day. Like, the amount of criminal activities related to the hobby that has been happening has exploded. Like, there's so much criminal activity, whether it's like money laundering, theft, petty crime, violence, physical violence. There's been people that have been stabbed and attacked and mugged in the hobby. Like, vendors actually joke about it, but they all talk about how do they need to be carrying around firearms or sidearms just for protection right now. Like, that's just ridiculous talk, right? But I would say that's like the biggest thing that is actually really hurting the hobby is truly like the amount of criminal activities that's involved, because a pallet of Pokemon cards is worth like 70 grand right now. So
Okay, so again, I'm not victim blaming, but I do think a lot of that comes down to laziness, and I don't want that to come, like, you got to just fucking hear me out, all right? So do they need to carry firearms? I don't know. I don't want to go down that road, but do they need better security? I want to say yes, and that's not because brands are corporatizing or creators or influencers are corporatizing the hobby. That's because cards are more expensive. I guess in a way you can you can argue and like do the mental gymnastics to say, but because cards are more popular because of those people, therefore the prices are now higher, and therefore inadvertently it is partially their fault. But that is such a stretch to say it's because of Joe Jonas or it's because of Momo. Like, that's just got to do with blanket popularity and things going viral, right? The reason why I think a lot of these vendors or card stores are probably getting targeted, or like a reason why, is because you don't see, again, I'm going to keep using the fucking jewelry example, right? It's not like they probably are, but like jewelry conventions, they're not fucking... I've been to card shows and I've been behind the scenes of card shows in Australia. This is the security. This is the rundown of how it works. Drive to the venue, park your car. Sometimes there's a loading bay, sometimes there isn't. Get there before the show starts, either the night before or 2 hours before on the day. Set out your inventory, your cabinets, your cards. That's it. You're at the show. You're walking either in a loading bay with a high vis, like a yellow vest on, or you're parked in the car park and you're going through like the visitor path to the convention room. Like, you're not going through a back door. You're going through the path that everybody else does. So you're with the general public or anybody else who has access to that space. That is a massive vulnerability. At any point between your car getting parked and you going into the actual show hall, you can get robbed unless you have a security outfit with you. So maybe if it's that big of a concern, these people should have a security outfit with them moving from loading bay or car park to the show floor. Or the card show runners themselves need to provide that as an option for people or the vendors coming to the shows, which would then inadvertently put the price of the shows up, because they're going to pay for a fucking security outfit for most people, but at least things would be safer. Because nobody is doing that, that is why I say it's laziness, because it is a big issue. People are getting robbed because this stuff is worth money. There is a way to prevent it or mitigate it. And I know from my experience that when I see it here in Australia, not enough is being done to mitigate or prevent it. I think Jake literally forgot what the video he's making is about. I think so too.
There are actual criminals out there that would love to steal a pallet of Pokemon cards. And it's everyone related in the hobby, right? There are people out there like McDonald's worker or museum worker, or people that have access to promo cards, like universities. So whenever there is a promotion for a One Piece or Pokemon card that's currently happening, when they get a box of cards, they're just straight up taking it off the table. Why? Because that box of promo cards is worth so much money that it's tempting them to take it off the table. Like, there's been criminal cases related to the Great Felt Hat Pikachu. Whenever I go to a card show, I still see a ton of British guys who use the on-the-ball promo cards that should have been given out to kids. Stacks of them, like stacks of these on-the-ball promo cards as currency or trades, because they are incredibly lucrative. And obviously, those should have been passed out to kids like years ago. No one should be having access to like large stacks of readily available promo cards that should have been distributed years ago. No, that was absolutely taken off the table.
That's a big fucking claim. And it's also just like a random gigabanger fucking law drop that Jake snuck into the last half of this video. I want to know more about this on the ball fucking stash and the British guys. Who are these guys? That is a fucking crazy segment. Dude just like went in on these random British guys.
That pretty much covers at least my thoughts on it. There are pros to it, but at the same time, there's a ton of cons. I think for the vast majority of viewers, you're going to say like, yeah, this is just way worse. Like I prefer things 2 or 3 years ago, or even 4 years ago, or 6 years ago compared to where they are today, Jake. And, you know, I can't really disagree with you. But at the same time, those days from 6 years ago are gone. And this is where the hobby is currently at. I think this is going to absolutely rub some people the wrong way in terms of where the hobby is currently at. And there are people that are going to leave the hobby. And I don't disagree with that. I think everyone has the ability to make their own decision. What I can say is that because of how mainstream the hobby has gone, because of how many people have joined the hobby, we're going to see a lot more people join. There are a lot of people that weren't that big into collecting a couple of years ago that are still joining. Like the hobby is still absolute growing, which is kind of insane. So if you got some cards that you think are really, really cool right now, they're probably going to be even cooler in 2 or 3 years, if you can believe that's even possible. So yeah,
It's a fucking red flag. If it's cool now, it'll be as cool in 2 years. Why? Because it's going to be worth more money. I think it means because the card got more expensive, it became cooler.
That's where I think collecting a couple of years ago, hobby, we're going to see a lot more people join. There are a lot of people that weren't that big into collecting a couple of years ago that are still joining. Like the hobby is still absolute growing, which is kind of insane. So if you got some cards that you think are really, really cool right now, they're probably going to be even cooler in 2 or 3 years, if you can believe that's even possible. So yeah, that's where I think the outlook of the hobby is going to go for the next couple of years. Let me know what your thoughts are. Again, like I think this is like a super complex topic, and I'm not even sure if I'm doing it good just. I want to at least give it a shot. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. I don't think you did, bro.
I don't think you did, dude. I think you left a lot on the table. I do like that song, whatever that is. Jake, I think you started off strong, but then went off the deep end. I would love to talk to you more about these topics on stream. Would you be interested? Thank you. Huge fan as always. Your #1 fan. I think I did this once, and then Opossum Bud made a video about it. Let's see if he makes another video about it soon. Fucking hell. It just, the first 5 minutes started off so strong, and then he just went. All right, let's have a look at the comments. I love comments. How good are comments?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Jake.
Hello. The hobby has never been more fun or profitable. Crazy that something can be both. Crazy how people complain so much when their collections went parabolic. Okay, I see this a lot. I see this comment a lot. Like, you should be happy. It's really an indicator of where and how you derive your happiness. Do you derive your happiness from currency and value and money in life in general? If so, yeah, you'd probably be happy. If you source happiness from other areas, other places, then your collection getting more expensive won't change any of it. Is it nice? Of course. And does it help if you're in a pinch? Yeah. But if you're financially stable and you're just trying to like do something in the short, 80 years that you have or whatever, it doesn't matter to a lot. It really doesn't matter to a lot of people. The value of my collection going up means it's hard to build my collection, genius. This guy's fucking funny. I like that guy. I blame apps that have pivoted the focus of the hobby from rarity and chase to value money. That has attracted investors and emphasized the wrong part of the hobby. He heart reacts, but he takes the sponsorships. The funniest part is that the community actually listens to these know-nothings. The truth is, a lot of these wealthy people are joining so they can launder their money. And I feel like Tom Brady opening up 20 or 25 card stores is not organic interest in the space. I agree with this. I'd love to learn, and I'd love to investigate and get and research more about this and connect the dots like Crazy Man style. But my off the cuff hot take is yes, I agree with this guy. Jake, you're honestly the biggest hypocrite. You told everyone how it's so dumb to have other people open your own packs. You said they should open their own packs because that's the most fun part of collecting Pokemon cards. I agree, but a few months later, you changed your tune and started telling people that they should let others open their packs. Your reason was because it brings the community together, although you left out that Whatnot knocked on your door to be a rip and shipper. So you hate rip and shippers until it benefits you. Damn, this guy's got the fucking receipts. Franco, we found your account. You defend known scammers like Logan Paul. That is a red flag. Like, if you cape or defend Logan Paul in any capacity, that is a giga red flag. You claim he was playing a character, a heel, because he's in the WWE. No, that guy's just the POS. Clearly, you haven't seen Logan Paul in WWE. Logan can't cut a promo to save his life. Damn, he just heart reacted. Dude, this is crazy. Everyone knows you live in LV, knows what you look like and your name. I don't recommend people coming after you, but it won't surprise me to turn on YouTube and see that you got robbed. Nobody would be sad. Whoa, this guy's fucking evil. Heart reacts. What? I wouldn't be fucking heart reacting this. I'd be fucking calling the police. Yeah, he did not fucking read that, dude. I feel like I've seen this guy on YouTube before. Oh, I've seen this guy. This is the guy that makes the hate videos. Man, I like this guy. In fact, I'm subscribing right now. I'm actually too scared to click this button, but I'll think about it. Please don't come after me. I'll think about it. I'll in my private time when I got a bit of a break. We got a busy schedule today. Interesting video, Jake. Hopefully he replies.